Hello everyone! Today I want to go over the technique of bubbling, and I think this is really important for everybody to know how to do, especially if you're really empathic, just because it helps you kind of block other people's energy out and stuff like that, and it's just a great technique to have in your toolbox. So without further ado, let's hop right into the video. So the first question I want to go over is, what is bubbling? And bubbling can be used in different terminology, so I'm not saying bubbling is the correct word, but this is just the word that I use because that's how I imagine it to happen. So bubbling or energy protecting or shielding is kind of all the same thing in my mind, but it may be different. You're going to have to do your research on that. But bubbling is the technique of surrounding yourself in white light or any kind of bubbling energy effect to kind of block other people's emotions and energy out of your space so that you know that what you're experiencing is you and not someone else. The next question is, why should I bubble? Honestly, as intuitives and especially as empaths, you will pick up stuff like a sponge. So anybody who's angry, anybody who's upset, anybody who's sad, anybody who's happy, you're going to pick up their emotions and just spread, like it's just going to all combine together and become a big mess in your energy field, and it can cause us to kind of go crazy because in a sense you are picking up on everybody else's emotions and feelings, and you're not able to discern what's yours and what's theirs anymore. And it's really just a great way of kind of cleaning yourself. It's kind of like always taking a bath when you get dirty, to take off all of the, sweat and dirt and everything from the days that you haven't taken a bath or a shower. And it's kind of like that, except with energy. So if you could keep yourself clean without having to take a bath, then this is kind of essentially you doing that in a way. Before we go any further into this video, I do want to mention that everybody has a personal way of doing this. It doesn't mean that my way is right or wrong. It just means that other people have different ways of doing it. So if you don't resonate with the way that I do it, I highly recommend you look around and find other ways of doing this technique. But I'm just showing you guys how I do it and how I find works for me. So if it works for you, then great. If it not, then that's totally fine and it's totally understandable. Everybody has their different ways of doing things, and that's totally understandable and perfectly fine. So going over how to bubble, you'll get better at doing this in stressful situations as you progress in your spiritual practice and as you do this more and more, because you're going to have to be doing this very often. It doesn't mean that once you bubble, you're not going to have to do it for a month. You literally have to consciously be aware of it at some level throughout your day. So be aware that this will take time to learn and become better at doing it just subconsciously and not really thinking about it. But don't worry if you don't get it at first, you will get it. Just practice. Practice makes perfect, and eventually you're just going to get to a point where you can just think bubble and it's just going to happen. So to start off, you're going to take a deep breath. And imagine all of your energy coming into the center of your body. I always see the center of my body as the solar plexus chakra, which is right under your rib cage or right under like the boob area. So imagine all your energy centering in there and then becoming this really bright white light, right? So it can be any color that really resonates with you, but I always imagine a bright white light just because that feels most high vibration to me. But you can do purple, you can do blue, you can do yellow, red, anything that you feel is a really high vibration color and that matches with your energy. So imagine that color or whatever you want it to be in the center of your body. And then imagine that expanding out until it engulfs your body in a kind of bubble. So it can go out this far, it can be really close to your body, or it can go out this far. Whatever you're comfortable with, I would highly recommend you just do whatever you feel is a good place to stop and what you feel you can keep strong. I always usually tend to go out to about here, and you can imagine that white light expanding out to here or wherever you feel comfortable with it, and then holding that. I always imagine my bubble to look like a regular bubble. It's see-through, but it has like those rainbow iridescent swirls in it. But some people imagine a purple light, some people imagine a white light, some people imagine, you know, red, yellow, whatever color they feel comfortable with. I've had people do rainbow. I mean, you can really experiment with it and see what you feel most comfortable with. But this technique is something that's really going to help you push other people's energy out and keep your energy in. So you're not going to be affecting other people as much if you're angry or sad or happy or something like that, but you're also not going to be soaking in other people's energy and having that affect the way that you respond to things, or you know, everything that you are experiencing is going to be your own energy. So you're not going to have to worry so much about walking through the grocery store and walking past someone who's really angry and then suddenly getting this fit of rage, because you're going to be bubbling yourself and protecting yourself. And I highly, highly, highly recommend doing this every morning when you wake up and every time before you leave the house. And sometimes, I mean, I know everybody can forget things and be in such a rush that they just kind of forget to do things. You can do this while you're driving in the car once you get used to it. I don't want you to, like, you know, close your eyes while you're driving. Please don't do that. Don't get in an accident because of me. But definitely take the time to learn this skill and learn how to use it. It's just something that everybody should know how to do, especially if you're getting into the spiritual field and how to do things and, you know, connecting with your empathic self and stuff like that. One thing that I do is, because I know that I'm going to forget to do it throughout the day, I ask my higher self, my guides, and my angels to help keep that bubble up before I leave the house, and then just keep it up until I get home. So they kind of help me to do that and kind of keep it strong while I'm out, because I will forget and I will let it down. So if I do that, it's kind of preventing it from just, you know, crashing down when I forget to think about it. So I would highly recommend doing that, just because we are forgetful people, we're humans, and we're gonna be so overwhelmed by other stuff going on in our lives, you know, thinking about the grocery list, thinking about when we need to pick up the kids, or when what we need to get done at school. It can all become so overwhelming and get caught in our heads and cause us to lose that mindfulness of that practice. So I highly recommend asking your guides and angels and higher self to help you just keep that bubble up and keep it to a place where it's going to be protecting you throughout the day until you get home. One question that I do want to go over before we're done with this video is, can I experience paranormal experiences or things like that, or can I use my powers while I'm bubbling? Yes, you can. Because you're bubbling, you're going to be less likely to be negatively affected by what's happening. So on paranormal investigations, I bubble a lot because you're around some negative spirits or earthbound spirits that may make you feel really, really upset, and you can still experience what that spirit is needing you to experience without having it stick to you so much. Bubbling is kind of like putting on a raincoat in a sense and going out in the rain. You're still going to experience the rain and you still might get a little bit wet, but most of all you're going to stay dry and you're not going to have so much problems with being soaked when you go back in. So I do want to remind you guys that you can still experience things, you can still do things when you're bubbling, and I don't recommend that you don't bubble just because you want to experience things, because you still can do that while bubbling. I know this video was kind of short and kind of rambly. I'm sorry, my brain is not really all here today. I'm kind of distracted and tired, but I do hope that I went over a bunch of different points that you guys were thinking of and helped you guys find a new technique to use in your life, because I really, really highly recommend using this. If you have any questions, you can leave them down in the comments below, or if you have any video suggestions, you can do that as well. If you did like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos from me, and I will talk to you guys next week. Bye! Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about spirit guides and how to connect with them. I get asked this question a lot, as well as how to connect with your angels, but I specifically want to focus on spirit guides today just because I feel like they deserve two different videos. I don't know when I'll be doing the angel one, but I will try to do it at some point soon. But I did want to touch base on